Chapter 31 Long Su, and you are listening at novelfull.audio. Bai Chen had never thought that this Long Su in would be this dictatorial, but he still refused to follow her. I'm not done picking up trash yet. Stop picking up trash and come with me. Long Su in stared angrily at Bai Chen, making her look very attractive. He shook his head. No, I have to clean the park up first. She hesitated a little when he insisted. Long Su in pondered things for a little while. She did not understand why Bai Chen was picking up trash here, but eventually, she nodded. Fine. I'll help. You're gonna help. Bai Chen felt surprised. He did not expect this woman to help him pick up litter. But he did not want her help, because if she did, the system might not count this as his progress. No, it has to be me. If you want me to follow you after this, just go wait for me on the bench over there, he said and pointed to a long marble bench nearby. Long Su in's beautiful eyebrows knitted together. She blinked her beautiful eyes while staring at Bai Chen's face. Why? The boy did not know what to say. Then, an idea flashed in his mind. He instantly spoke with a serious voice. Because your beautiful hands will be dirty. Oh, okay, I'll sit over there to wait, she said and let go of his arm. Long Su in walked with her head down towards the nearby bench. Bai Chen did not notice that Long Su in was blushing right now. She was obviously affected by his words. Long Su in confirmed her belief that he was courting her. His words seemed to indicate that he was. So, she could only do as she was told and chose to wait on a stone bench nearby. When he saw Long Su in sitting down on the bench obediently, Bai Chen let out a sigh. He was actually not trying to court her, despite having said what he'd said. He'd only used a trick he'd seen in a TV series. Bai Chen then continued to pick up rubbish in the park. About 15 minutes later, he heard a sound in his head. A mission.accomplishment window popped up. Ding! Mission complete. Mission 11. Pick up the trash in Xingxiang Park, success, reward. You have received 10 points. Bai Chen looked at the mission.accomplishment window with satisfaction before closing it and throwing the garbage bag away in a trash can. When he was done with that, he walked back to the bench where Long Su in was seated. He could tell that she had looked for him today to ask about the magic glasses, but that was something he did not want to tell her about. Nevertheless, he had to follow her to where she wanted him to go. If he refused to do so, she would be a bother in his life for sure. That was why he had not made a run for it when she was waiting for him on the bench. Let's go. Long Su in stood up from the bench as soon as she saw him approaching. Where to? Bai Chen asked. Although he was willing to follow her, he still wanted to know where she was taking him. Long Su in looked at him and answered, my place. Your place. Bai Chen's eyes widened a little when he heard that she was going to take him to her place. He became vigilant in an instant. What for, sister? Stop calling me sister. Just Su in would be fine, Long Su in said. You'll know as soon as we arrive. She did not let Bai Chen ask any more questions and walked over to cling to his arm, causing her rather large breasts to touch it. Bai Chen became slightly dazed when he felt the softness against his arm. Before he realized it, Long Su in had already dragged him to her luxurious BMW. Long Su in did not seem to realize that her breasts were touching his arm. Otherwise, she would have turned red with embarrassment because she had never been this close to a man before. Bai Chen sat down in the passenger side of the latest model BMW, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Because Long Su in, who was driving, did not explain why they were going to her house. She only said that he would find out soon. Bai Chen could not do anything but sit still. As for the new mission, he was not in the mood to check it out right now, so the boy only sat in the passenger seat without saying anything. What's wrong? After noticing that Bai Chen did not try at all to have a conversation with her, Long Su in, who was driving, could not help but make the query. With just the two of them hanging out together, she thought Bai Chen would not let this chance go to waste and try to talk to her. If asked where she had conjured up this idea, the woman would definitely have replied that it was because she knew he was trying to win her over. From her point of view, this moment was like winning the lottery for him, because she had never spared a single glance at any guys who had tried to court her before. But this time, it was very different for her. Bnoel.m Bai Chen was the lifeline that had pulled her up from the darkness. He'd offered Long Su-in a hand and help when she was helpless as a result of her impending blindness. Combining that with the magic glasses and his fortune-telling, how could she not be interested in him? Nothing, Bai Chen replied, then asked at the same time, I'm just thinking things over a little bit. By the way, Su-in, why are you taking me to your house again? He was not calling her sister anymore, because he was actually 10 years older than her. After getting permission to call her Su-in, Bai Chen did not hold back. Long Su-in felt happy. This was the first time she'd allowed any man, other than her father, to call her Su-in instead of Long Su-in. End of chapter 31. Chapter 32. A luxurious house. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the entrance of an extravagant residential estate in Xingzhou City, a BMW drove inside at a constant, moderate speed. Bai Chen, who was inside that car, widened his eyes a little. He looked out the vehicle's window and saw gigantic and beautiful houses along the way. He had never thought that Long Su-in would be living inside this extremely luxurious estate. Su-in, you live here? Bai Chen calmed down and turned to ask this question of the driver, Long Su-in. She looked at Bai Chen a little with a frown. Judging from his demeanor, he was probably faking his astonishment. Long Su-in understood that Bai Chen was a son of a rich family whose wealth had reached its second generation. She seriously took this as fact. And the magic glasses were the cause of it. The glasses were made from pure gold, which confirmed her belief even more. Yes. She nodded in reply. We'll arrive soon. Bai Chen gulped when he heard her answer. It looked like this Long Su-in was really wealthy. When he thought of the fact that she was actually a computer science genius, Bai Chen came to realize why she had her wealth. Barely 5 minutes later, the BMW car reached a dead end. In front of them was a massive and beautiful silver-colored stainless steel sliding gate. Next to it was a small gateman's box. There was a middle-aged man inside. He was watching a YouTube video on his phone. When the man saw the BMW in front of the silver-colored stainless steel gate, he quickly put his phone down and pressed a button to open the gate. The silver-colored stainless steel gate slid open all the way in a blink of an eye. Long Su-in drove in as soon as the gate was wide open. Bai Chen stared at the gate with a dumbfounded expression. He thought it was really like the movies he had watched. A rich person's house had an automatic front gate like the one in front of him now. Having driven inside, Long Su-in parked the car in the garage. There were several other luxury cars inside. Bai Chen got out of the BMW with Long Su-in. He could not help but think about how rich she was, because just the 4 cars that she had cost about 20 million yuan. Follow me. Long Su-in did not care much about the expression on his face. She said what she said and walked out of the garage. Bai Chen could only shake his head to get rid of his thoughts. The boy decided that he would not care or feel anything about whatever he saw in Long Su-in's extravagant house. He followed her to the front door, which was made of luxurious glass. The woman did not open the door herself. It was a middle-aged woman who did it for her. The middle-aged woman was in a housekeeper's uniform. She looked at Long Su-in and smiled. Welcome back, miss. Thank you, Auntie Hui. Can you ask the chef in the kitchen to prepare the best dishes? I have an important guest today. Long Su-in smiled saying this. When she heard Long Su-in's words, the gaze of the housekeeper called Auntie Hui fell on Bai Chen automatically. She glanced at him with slight interest, since she had never seen her young miss bring any boys home before, let alone throwing one a feast. He is, she could not help but turn to inquire of Long Su-in with curiosity. This housekeeper had raised Long Su-in since she was little when her mother was away for work. This meant that she and Long Su-in were very close. Hi, Auntie Hui, please call me Bai Chen. I'm Su-in's friend. Bai Chen introduced himself to Auntie Hui without waiting for Long Su-in to say anything. Young Mrs. Friend, Auntie Hui's lips parted. She mumbled softly. She was shocked to hear what he'd said. He'd called her young Miss Su-in and said he was her friend. This was a situation she had never found herself in before. Who is this man? Why did the young miss let him call her by that name? She could only wonder that in her heart but did not dare ask. The housekeeper quickly went back into the house to tell the chef Long Su-in's order. After Auntie Hui had gone in, Long Su-in took Bai Chen into her luxurious home. The house was full of beautiful decorations no matter where one looked. He was taken into a luxurious living room. The sofa made from fur that he sat on was soft and comfortable beyond belief. In front of him was a huge television, whose width he did not know. Drink the lemonade first. Long Su-in looked especially energetic. She walked to the refrigerator and put lemonade in a glass for him. Thank you. Bai Chen took the glass of lemonade from her hand and took a sip. The coldness of the lemonade passed down his throat, making him feel extremely refreshed. Long Su-in looked at him. A rare smile lit up her face. But it was fleeting, which made Bai Chen unaware of it since he was drinking the lemonade. After drinking half of the glass, Bai Chen put the lemonade on a black glass table in front of him. He asked, "So why did you bring me here again?" "I wanted to thank you, so I brought you to my home to host a feast," Long Su-in answered calmly. Just that. Bai Chen frowned. He was not expecting that she would invite him over without telling him why, just to throw him a small party as a thank you gift. "There's one more thing. I want to know about your magic," she said with her eyes glowing. End of chapter 32. Chapter 33 Our Secret. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There's one more thing. I want to know about your magic. When he heard Long Su-in's words, Bai Chen secretly let out a sigh. It was just as he had predicted. She wanted to ask about the magic glasses, which were connected with the magic that he lied to her about. No matter what, Bai Chen could not tell her that he'd obtained the magic glasses and given them to her because of the life-changing system, the system that had helped him travel back in time. The life-changing system was like a trump card that he would use to get rid of Wang Qingye and the Wang family. He would never let anyone know about this, not even his own parents. And even though he confessed about it to others, people might only think he was out of his mind. He was the only person who could see the life-changing system's windows. No one else could. Long Su-in's glowing eyes gradually dimmed when she saw Bai Chen staying silent without uttering a word. He did not even respond to her statement. Seeing this, it was not hard to determine that Bai Chen seriously did not want to talk about the magic that he had. Bai Chen did not see her facial expression. He only lowered his head to think about ways to lie about his magic to Long Su-in. If he continued to avoid telling her anything, he was afraid that she would continue to bug him about it. At last, an idea popped into his head. If he wanted to lie about magic, he would have to perform something that looked like a magic trick. What Bai Chen could do right now was to use the white ring on his finger to perform. He believed that if he used the ring and told Long Su-in to keep it a secret, she would not bug him with questions later on. "Okay, I'm gonna tell you. But you have to keep this between us," Bai Chen said and raised his head to look at Long Su-in's beautiful face. Having thought that Bai Chen would not tell her anything, Long Su-in suddenly felt anticipation. Her beautiful brown eyes shone again. "I swear I won't tell a soul about it." Bai Chen nodded and pointed his finger at the glass of lemonade he had just drunk earlier. "Look at this glass carefully. Long Su-in did not say anything. Her face was filled with excitement. She quickly locked her gaze on the glass of lemonade as Bai Chen had told her to. Bai Chen did not say anything else. He only moved his hand towards the lemonade glass while sending his thoughts to the dimension ring. The lemonade glass suddenly disappeared. He had put it inside the dimension ring. Long Su-in's eyes widened in shock. She had not imagined that the lemonade glass would vanish into thin air like this. So, this is magic. After a while, she sucked in a deep breath and gave a soft exclamation. From what she had seen earlier, it was indeed magic. She thought it could not be anything else. Although it seemed like a magic show, she was sure that it was not, because Bai Chen had not touched the lemonade glass at all when it vanished. His hand was actually one palm's length away from the glass. Seeing this made her confident that it was not trickery, it was really magic. Bai Chen looked at her astonished face with satisfaction. He then put the glass back in place. This made her both feel astounded and be in awe. Long Su-in took many minutes to calm down. She took her eyes off the lemonade glass to look at Bai Chen. The woman stared at him for a while, with hesitation in her heart. She was indecisive about asking Bai Chen to teach her how to use magic. She wanted to have it for herself, too. But she was also afraid that Bai Chen would refuse. This threw her into a dilemma. In the end, she decided not to ask for a magic lesson. She had made the right call. Even if Long Su-in asked, Bai Chen would not be able to teach her anyway. Because what he'd used earlier was not magic, but the dimension ring that he'd gotten from the life-changing system. Don't tell anyone, Su-in. Bai Chen told her again to keep this just between them. Long Su-in nodded firmly with a serious expression. I will never tell a soul. Bai Chen nodded with contentment. He believed her. He was certain that she would not tell anyone about it. Otherwise, many problems would follow for eternity. Young miss, the food is ready. BL.net Auntie Hui walked into the room right at that moment to inform her about the food. Long Su-in could only put this matter aside. She believed that there was still much time to talk to Bai Chen because he liked her and was trying to court her. Let's eat, Long Su-in said and got up. Bai Chen nodded. He was actually quite hungry as well. He quickly got off the sofa. Long Su-in then led him into the dining room. Bai Chen could not help but be in awe of the dining room's elegance upon entering. The dining room was big and beautiful, just like the ones he had seen in movies. He was more startled by the dishes lined up on a huge, round wooden table. There were at least 10 dishes in total. The 10 dishes were also exquisite and expensive. Bai Chen could not help but drool. He had never eaten anything so extravagant and exquisite in his life. Take a seat, said Long Su-in. Oh, okay. Bai Chen took a seat in an instant. End of chapter 33. Chapter 30 For the minions of the White Tiger Gang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After he was done having a grand and delightful meal with Long Su-in, the woman drove Bai Chen back to the entrance of Xing Sing Business District. Though she was quite surprised as to why he wanted to be dropped off here, Long Su-in did not ask. She left in her BMW. But before leaving, she made an appointment to see him tomorrow. Bai Chen did not have anything important tomorrow, so he said yes. He was a bit suspicious about why she wanted to see him though. And it was not like he did not ask her to. He did, but the answer was. You'll know tomorrow. It was 5 o'clock now. Dusk was slowly settling in, and the sky had turned slightly darker. The colors of it right now were entirely different from daytime. Bai Chen did not go into the district as soon as he got out of Long Su-in's car. He stood there to watch her car leave his sight. After she had vanished from sight, Bai Chen prepared to go home. However, the mission dashboard window popped up in front of him, and at the same time, there was a small arrow pointing behind him. Mission 10. Get rid of the enemy you encounter. Instruction. Your enemy has brought forth a strong army to get rid of you. You have to obliterate them all. Reward for success. Win 20 points penalty for failure. You will be gravely injured. Bai Chen looked at the mission window and the green arrow that had appeared for a while. It was not hard for him to understand that Ba Guan's gang was probably waiting for him at the entrance of the Xing Sing business district. Otherwise, how could they just appear right when Bai Chen arrived? Without having to turn around to look, he heard a familiar voice. It was Ba Guan's voice without a doubt. His tone was filled with vengeance and hatred. You're finally here, Bai Chen. I have been waiting to settle the score with you. Bai Chen heard what Ba Guan said loud and clear, but he did not feel panic or fear. That was because he had beaten the guy in his gang up twice. This time it would probably be the same. Even though the men that Ba Guan brought today were much stronger, he believed that he would be able to beat them up with the low-grade martial arts technique. It would probably be a piece of cake. So, you haven't learned your lesson yet, have you? Said Bai Chen as he turned around slowly to look. As soon as he did that, Bai Chen noticed Bai Guan's slightly bruised face. Other than Ba Guan, there were also two men present. These two men appeared to be about 25 to 30 years old with unfriendly, cruel faces. They were in white sleeveless undershirts with black jeans. Talk all you want. You're done for good this time. I'll tell you what. I asked my boss who's in the White Tiger gang for help. You're definitely going to die today. Ba Guan said with a cocky expression. The two men who were with Ba Guan smiled coldly while looking at Bai Chen. Their eyes were like those of predators watching prey. Young Guan, is it this guy? The one you want us to kill, one of them said while cracking his knuckles. This guy looks like a weakling. Just a wimp. I'll break his two legs and feed them to a shark. The other guy spat out his extremely cruel idea. There were no passers-by at that moment, which meant no one heard what this guy had said. Anyone who overheard his words would definitely be scared out of their wits. If you don't want to get beaten to a pulp, follow us. Ba Guan said this arrogantly again. Although he saw that Bai Chen's expression remained unchanged even after hearing what the other two guys had said earlier, Ba Guan did not think it was bizarre. He guessed it was because Bai Chen was so scared out of his mind that he'd become frozen and could do nothing. Bai Chen was not like that, of course. He thought other people would panic and gather to watch if he tried to get rid of the hooligans here. The problem would definitely escalate into a bigger one, which he clearly did not want to happen. Move. Ba Guan glared at Bai Chen and walked to the side. The area had thick shrubs and bushes, making it rather dark. The two men were unhappy that Ba Guan flexed and acted like their boss, although they could not beat the guy up either, because he was quite close to their big boss. If asked who their big boss was, they would answer that it was Ma Jiang, who was one of the most influential criminals in the White Tiger gang of Xingzhou City. To be precise, Ma Jiang was the fourth most powerful member of the gang. He was under only the top three. The two men did not follow Ba Guan right away but used their hostile and cruel stares to threaten Bai Chen. This was to tell Bai Chen that if he ran away, they would take action immediately. Of course, Bai Chen would not make a run for it. He followed Ba Guan without hesitation. This was one of the missions given to him by the life-changing system. Furthermore, it was worth 20 points and included a roulette bonus. If he did not get rid of these guys, those things would not be made available to him. When they saw Bai Chen following Ba Guan willingly, the two men from the White Tiger gang only jeered in their hearts at how stupid Bai Chen was. Who on earth would walk into danger without thinking of running away? They turned to look at each other's faces before revealing cold smiles to one another. At the same time, they followed behind Bai Chen. The two men clearly feared Bai Chen might find a way to escape, so they had to trail closely behind him. As soon as they reached the area where prying eyes could not penetrate, one of the two men from the White Tiger gang pushed Bai Chen from the back. The boy nearly tripped and fell before Bhagwan. End of chapter 34. Chapter 35 The Mighty Fist. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Bai Chen almost fell as he was pushed by one of the White Tiger gang members. But he could only smile. Right now, he was acting like a pig waiting to be slaughtered by a tiger. If he wanted to evade the hand of one of the gangsters that was pushing him, it was not a hard thing to do. Bhagwan, who was standing there waiting, smiled icily at Bai Chen. He looked at his enemy with contentment. After getting beat up by Bai Chen twice, all he could do was feel bitterness in his heart, bitterness that he could not let go of. But today was different because he was with two White Tiger men. Their names were Dong Go and Luanhe. These two men had brought guns with silencers with them. Even if Bai Chen were the god of combat, he would still lose his life to bullets. Kneel and lick my shoe. If you do that, I'll let you walk out alive, Bhagwan said with a deliberately cold voice. It was not only his voice that was icy, but his gaze was too. He said what he said, not because he truly intended to let Bai Chen go. He only wanted to strip the guy of his dignity before murdering him. It was obvious that after getting beaten up by Bai Chen, Bhagwan had developed a grudge that ran deep within him. He wanted to kill Bai Chen and had already put his name down in his mental account of people to be killed. Dong Go and Luanhe had been engaged in activities outside the law for a long while, so they knew what Bhagwan was trying to do. They could only smile to express their approval, though they still disliked Bhagwan in their hearts. Bai Chen did not do as he was told. 12 years in prison had given him a great deal more experience than Bhagwan, Dong Go, and Luanhe. It was impossible for him to not know that Bhagwan wanted to strip him of his dignity with those words before killing him. And what if I don't, he said. The corners of his lips curled up into a faint smile. Bai Chen did not even feel a hint of pressure in this situation. If you don't, then just die here. Dong Go said in a voice laced with cruelty. He put his hands behind his back, lifted his shirt a little, and pulled out a gun with a silencer on it. Don't move. If you do, I'll blow you to smithereens. After pulling out a gun with a silencer on it, Dong Go started to threaten Bai Chen right away. Bai Chen was filled with panic when he saw the gun with a silencer on it in Dong Go's hand. He had not imagined that these people would actually bring guns. But he quickly calmed himself down. With the low-grade martial arts technique that he had, he believed he could take care of Dong Go before the other party could pull the trigger. Luanhe looked at Dong Go a little and nodded with satisfaction. He then turned to look at Bhagwan. Young Guan, what are you waiting for? Quickly get your revenge and beat this guy to a pulp. After that, we'll kill this wimp and throw his corpse into the sea to feed the sharks. Dong Go and Luanhe obviously wanted Bhagwan to beat Bai Chen up before killing him. Bhagwan had not thought of this before, so he smiled at the two men to show his gratitude. Bro Dong, bro Luanhe, thank you guys so much. You've really saved me this time. I'll tell Big Boss Ma how good you've been to me. Good, good. Dong Go and Luanhe had never thought they would hear such words from Bhagwan. They felt happy. If Ma Jiang saw that they were doing their best with their jobs, they would definitely move up the ranks. Bhagwan did not say more. He looked at Bai Chen with vicious eyes. Then he bolted, intending to kick Bai Chen's face. Bhagwan thought Bai Chen would not retaliate for sure because Dong Go was pointing a gun at him. But Bhagwan's idea was a dim-witted one. This was a very good opportunity for Bai Chen. He reached out to grab Bhagwan's leg, then threw Bhagwan's body at Dong Go, who was pointing a gun at him. Thud. Dong Go could not react in time. He was hit by Bhagwan's body and flew back. The gun with a silencer on it in his hand slipped from his fingers and fell to the ground. Luanhe was still someone from the criminal underworld. He had good eyesight, so he saw what happened quite well. Luanhe's face displayed a shocked expression. In the blink of an eye, he collected himself and sped to the gun with a silencer on it that had fallen on the ground near him. However, before he could reach it, Bai Chen kicked his chest and sent him flying. No one knew from where Bai Chen conjured all that force for his kick, but 2 bones in Luan He's ribcage broke. Thunk! Luan He's body fell next to a shrub. His face contorted. He was in extreme pain, so intense that he could hardly breathe. Luan He could only let out a cry of pain. You! No one knew when Dong Go managed to stand up. He rushed towards Bai Chen without trying to pick up the gun on the ground in front of Bai Chen. Bai Chen turned to look at Dong Go with eagle eyes. He did not care about the gun either, only believing in his fists. Bai Chen pushed off of the ground with his feet to leap at Dong Go. Dong Go saw Bai Chen approaching and the corners of his mouth twitched. He did not know who this boy was, where he came from, and where he'd found the guts to fight him. But Dong Go did not have time to ponder these issues. When Bai Chen reached him, he clenched his fist and punched out towards Bai Chen's face. Bai Chen blinked. The only thing he felt was how slow this guy was. He returned the punch indifferently. Thud. It was a very horrifying sight. More than 6 of Dong Go's teeth flew out of his mouth, along with a mouthful of blood. His body fell onto Luan He's, who was crying on the ground in pain. Argh! Luan He cried out with more pain when he was hit, as Bai Chen's mighty fist sent Dong Go flying to land on top of his body. End of chapter 35. Chapter 36. Peeing their pants. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ba Guan witnessed everything that had happened earlier very clearly. His eyes widened, and his body shook with fear. He had stood up now, though his body was aching quite a bit. Ba Guan was not only afraid but also incredulous. He could not believe that Dong Go and Luan He would get beaten to a pulp by Bai Chen. The 2 men from the White Tiger gang could only wriggle on the ground with pain. They were, in fact, crying. Luan He was the worse off of the 2 of them. He was already badly injured from breaking 2 ribs. When Dong Go's body landed on his violently, another rib broke, making the number of injuries 3 in total. With the situation having turned out like this, it would be the most bizarre thing in the world to say that he was unmistakably gravely injured. Luan He was badly hurt, but Dong Go was not any better. 6 of his teeth were missing and his mouth was covered in blood. Dong Go was basically swallowing blood instead of saliva. His face had lost its shape from being punched by Bai Chen. Apart from rolling on the ground and crying out in pain, there was nothing else they could do. The injuries they'd gotten had exhausted the 2 of them to the point of almost losing consciousness. Bai Chen smiled as he looked at them. He was very confident with his low-grade martial arts technique. He turned to look at Ba Guan, the smile on his face vanished. Iciness resurfaced. He slowly approached Ba Guan. Don't come over. Ba Guan screamed in panic as he saw Bai Chen making his way towards him. The gangster's face was as pale as a sheet and covered in sweat. He was dead scared. Suddenly, a yellow liquid with a strong smell started to spread from his trousers, until the entirety of the trousers was stained and soaked. He was wetting himself. That's right. Ba Guan was now so scared that he'd peed his pants. Ha ha ha. When Bai Chen saw Ba Guan wetting himself, he burst into laughter and stopped short. This scene made Bai Chen very happy. Ba Guan did not respond to Bai Chen's laughter. He did not care if he wet himself or not. He was scared, after all. He only had one thought in his heart, to escape from here. Ba Guan, get out of my sight. If you dare to mess with me again, you'll be dead meat. Bai Chen said this with an absolutely ice-cold voice. It was clear from his tone that he really had thoughts of killing Ba Guan because this guy was extremely evil. He was responsible for shredding his life into pieces. Ba Guan was about to reply that he understood. But the chance for that never came. Bai Chen kicked the gun next to his foot right into Ba Guan's forehead so violently, Ba Guan collapsed and fell unconscious. After he had passed out, Bai Chen turned to look at the two white tiger men. Dong Gua and Luan He were also terrified out of their wits like Ba Guan. They had wet their pants as well. They had never dreamt that a mere 18-year-old boy would scare the living daylights out of them like this. Don't mess with me again. Otherwise, even if I have to kill you, I will. Bai Chen had long made up his mind that he would never show mercy to his enemies as it could cause him problems later. But his subconscious was not ready for murder right now, so he could only give out warnings. But if there was a next time, anything could happen. He had mingled with many murderers in the prison as well. Dong Go and Luan He could only nod repeatedly. Their minds were filled with bitterness and vengeance. Of course, they would not let this matter end here. When they returned, they would report this to their big boss, Ma Jiang, right away. That would most definitely be when Bai Chen, the guy who hurt them, would completely vanish from this world. Bai Chen said nothing more. He walked up towards the guys and thrashed them into unconsciousness. He then walked towards the gun with a silencer on it and sent it into the dimension ring. Although he had the most brilliant life-changing system with him, a gun was also something commonly used for homicide and he had to protect himself. Ding! Mission complete. Mission 10. Get rid of the enemy you encounter, success, reward. You have received 20 points and the opportunity to receive special skills or items at random. Bai Chen had not even left the location when the mission accomplishment window popped up in front of him. He took one deep breath and stared at it with contentment. He got himself 20 more points and now he had 55 points in total. Bai Chen only needed 45 more to reach level 3. The boy believed that if the two new missions equaled 45 points in total, he would likely reach level 3 tomorrow. Another thing that made him extremely happy right now was the new randomization bonus. Adding that to the one he already possessed, how could he not be happy? Bai Chen could not wait to use them and see which types of items or skills he would get. Not wanting to wait, he hurriedly walked back to his house. He did not care to check the details of the new mission or the life-changing system window right now. The reason for that was he wanted to take it all at the moment he was home. End of Chapter 36. Chapter 37. 2 New Skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bai Chen got home and was first called for dinner by his parents. They asked where he had been today. He replied that he had been hanging around in the park with a friend. After that, his parents did not make any more inquiries. After having dinner with his parents, Bai Chen went upstairs to shower and change into pajamas. He sat on his bed and called up the system window. The life-changing system, user. Bai Chen age. 18 years old level. 2, 55/100, description. You still need 45 points to level up. Instruction. If you wish to change your life into what you have always wanted, proceed with the following missions. Mission Dashboard, Mission 12. Converse with a mysterious lady, 20 points, Mission 13. Do what Long Su-in wants, 20 points, further instruction. The order of mission completion is irrelevant. After you are done with the tasks assigned to you, you will be given a chance to receive special skills or items at random. The skills or items will give you a better life. You have 2 opportunities to get special skills or items at random. Seeing the system window, a smile appeared on Bai Chen's face. But after he had seen the 2 new missions, he frowned a little. He felt that the missions given by the system lately were getting weirder and weirder. No, actually, it had been strange from the start. He clicked to see the details of the 2 new missions. Mission 12. Converse with a mysterious lady. Instruction. A strange lady usually appears on full moon nights. You must find her and talk to her about what she wants to discuss with you. Reward for success. Win 20 points. Penalty for failure. Lose 30 points. Mission 13. Do what Long Su-in wants, instruction. Long Su-in made an appointment with you tomorrow and there is something she needs in mind. You have to do what she wants without question. Reward for success. Win 20 points penalty for failure. Your relationship with her ends. After reading every syllable of the 2 missions, Bai Chen became quiet. These 2 new missions were indeed really peculiar. Converse with a mysterious lady. Do what Long Su-in wants. But Bai Chen did not give it much thought. His face showed excitement as he was about to use the roulette bonus. He was anticipating which skills or items he would get this time. Now that this time he had 2 chances, his excitement went through the roof. The boy pressed his finger onto the roulette bonus button instantly, not wanting to waste any more time. Suddenly, a roulette wheel popped up. Bai Chen pressed the button in the middle. The roulette wheel started spinning and then halted. This time, it stopped at the special skills pocket like the last time. Ding! Congratulations, you have received a low-grade stargazing walker skill. A low-grade stargazing walker skill. Bai Chen's eyes widened with surprise. He was not surprised at the skill that he got though, but at its name, stargazing walker skill. What is that? Bai Chen had not expected that he would get this type of skill. He also did not know what it was all about. Its name was very different from the previous 2 skills, a low-grade martial arts technique and a low-grade piano skill, that he had received before. Nevertheless, he was still quite happy. This was because whatever it was, this skill was definitely extraordinary. He inspected its description instantly without hesitation. A low-grade stargazing walker skill. Description. The low-grade stargazing walker skill is a skill passed down from ancient times. This is one of the skills that has vanished from the historical record. The name of its inventor is unknown, but it is a miraculous skill that allows its user to walk in the air, allowing the user of this skill to walk around and see stars up close. This might explain the name Stargazing Walker. Unfortunately, the skill is not in its complete form, making it a low grade skill. Grades of special items. Low, medium, high, supreme. The knowledge of the low-grade stargazing walker skill suddenly appeared in Bai Chen's head as he finished reading the skill description. His eyes widened and almost popped out when he gained knowledge of the stargazing walker skill. Didn't getting this skill mean he would be able to walk mid-air and in the sky like how martial arts experts in Chinese action movies could? It must be the same thing. Bai Chen could not help but utter with excitement. He could not wait to try this skill out, but he quickly calmed down since he still had 1 more bonus left. Bai Chen hurriedly used it. The roulette wheel started spinning again. This time it also stopped at the skill pocket like before. Ding! Congratulations, you have received a low-grade 1000 face skill. A 1000 face skill. Bai Chen's eyes widened almost as wide as before. He sucked in a deep breath, feeling that this name was extremely familiar. It was just like the name of the thief grandmaster, the thief with 1,000 faces, who was the greatest criminal in history. Bai Chen took a deep breath again. If this was as he believed, this skill would be a very formidable one indeed, because it would allow him to change his own face into someone else's face. That would mean he could get away with anything. End of chapter 37. Chapter 38 Mahjong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Receiving the 1000 face skill made Bai Chen extremely happy. With this skill in hand, killing Wang Qingye would not be a difficult task anymore. The boy quickly pressed to see the 1000 face skill's description. A low-grade 1000 face skill, description. The 1000 face skill belongs to the Thief Grandmaster. This skill allows users to change their faces and appearances without limits. It is a shame though that this is an incomplete one, making the number of faces allowed only 10. Grades of special items. Low, medium, high, supreme. After reading the description, Bai Chen almost stopped breathing. It really was the 1000-face skill. As he finished reading the skill description, he successfully learned how to use it. The method was easy. He only had to think and stroke his own face. Bai Chen's heart raced like crazy. He could not wait to use this for real. He rushed to the mirror without hesitation. An image of his 30-year-old self resurfaced in his mind. At the same time, Bai Chen stroked his face with his hand. He blinked and what he saw in the mirror changed completely. Though the person in the mirror was still him, it was not his 18-year-old self, but his 30-year-old self. This really is a great skill. Bai Chen could not help but say it out loud. This 1000-face skill was indeed perfect. The 30-year-old self he saw in the mirror was really him. How he looked, his height, his build, everything. Luckily, his 30-year-old body had not grown much taller. His body was not very developed, and he looked skeletal, making what he was wearing right now okay. Ding! 9 faces left. A sound rang in Bai Chen's head together with a pop-up window. He stared at it and nodded with understanding. This was why he did not feel surprised by the translucent white window that popped up to notify him. Bai Chen stared at himself in the mirror and sighed. Before he'd gotten to come back here, he had truly been drowning in misery and vengeance. When he returned, everything had improved, even though he was holding a grudge against Wang Qingye and the Wang family. Of course, his ultimate goal of killing Wang Qingye and destroying the Wang family remained. He was only waiting for Wang Qingye to appear and was preparing everything for when the time came. Bai Chen stared at his 30-year-old self in the mirror for a while before changing back. With just a thought, his face and body changed back to that of an 18-year-old boy. Bai Chen then walked back to his bed. He lay down and closed his eyes with happiness. He'd gained a lot today from the life-changing system, both the points and the 2 skills. He obviously wanted to call it a day today, and he thought it was going to be a good night. In a luxurious hotel room in Xingzhou City, a middle-aged man with a scar on his face was seated on a sofa, swinging his leg contentedly. He had a cigarette in his mouth, which was from one of the famous brands in China right now. He was in an extremely casual outfit of shorts and an undershirt. Behind the middle-aged man were 2 men in suits, who were standing there calmly. Both of them wore sunglasses. They appeared to be the bodyguards of the middle-aged man who was having a smoke on the sofa. A man in a white suit was also sitting in front of the middle-aged man. His face was extremely handsome, and he was looking at the person in front of him with a smile. This good-looking man was also accompanied by 2 bodyguards like the man who was having a smoke. "Young Master Shi, how many do you want for this lot?" The middle-aged man used his fingers to take the cigarette out of his mouth. He blew out smoke and asked the question. The handsome man in a white suit smiled. "Not much, Senior Ma Zhang. I only want 100,000. 100,000. The middle-aged man who was called Ma Zhang frowned a little. "Isn't that too many? Last month, you only asked for about 10,000. This man's name was Ma Zhang, so there was no doubt who he was. He was most definitely the 4th most powerful member of the White Tiger Gang. This Ma Zhang guy was also the big boss of Donggo, Luanhe, and Baguan. "Not too much, Senior Ma. I, Shi Dong, have gotten a large order," the handsome guy replied. His name was Shi Dong. 100,000 it is. But the price is not cheap. Are you sure you can handle it, young Master Shi? Ma Zhang said with a smile. Of course. Shi Dong nodded. His expression remained unchanged. At the same time, he raised one of his fingers. 100 million yuan. Ma Zhang smiled when he heard the price. The man nodded in agreement. Deal. Senior Ma has never let me down. After hearing Ma Zhang's agreement, Shi Dong smiled with happiness. Ma Jiang was also smiling. He then spoke in a joyful demeanor. I never thought that young Master Shi, the heir of the Shi family, one of the 5 biggest clans in Beijing, would come to engage in the drug-dealing business with me in Xingzhou City twice. Haha. Shi Dong could not help but laugh. I only want to have a lot of cash. Besides, I'm visiting my fiancée here. Just killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I see. Ma Jiang seemed to realize something. Usually, people from the 5 biggest clans in Beijing would never do something like this in Xingzhou City. This Shi Dong likely engaged in the illegal drug trade with him only when he visited Xingzhou City to see his fiancée. End of chapter 38. Chapter 39. A kill order. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ma Jiang looked at Shi Dong for a while before asking curiously, who's this fiancée you're talking about, young Master Dong? Being your fiancée means she's anything but ordinary. Her name's Li Lin. Someone at your level surely knows her. Shi Dong did not try to hide this issue. He spoke of it with a smile. He was extremely satisfied with this fiancée of his. The Li Lin he was talking about was Bai Chen's classmate, of course. Li Tsongtian's daughter. Ma Jiang's facial expression shifted when he heard this. Everyone in Xingzhou City knew who Li Tsongtian was. The man was the founder of the Li Group, Xingzhou City's leading businessman, and the wealthiest person in the city right now. Other than that, his sworn brother was a general in the military, which meant no one in Xingzhou City dared to mess with him, not even the White Tiger Gang. It's no wonder you're Senior Ma. She's Li Tsongtian's daughter. Shi Dong nodded with a smile. I'm not surprised at why young Master Shi traveled all this way to Xingzhou City, Ma Jiang said. He also thought the Shi family's reasoning for letting Shi Dong get betrothed to Li Lin had something to do with the general, the sworn brother of Li Tsongtian. Even though Li Tsongtian was the richest man in Xingzhou City, his status was nothing compared to the Shi families, as it was one of the 5 most influential families in Beijing. Have you met her, young Master Shi? I saw her photo once. She's as cute as a doll. Ma Jiang raised his head to ask all of a sudden. He became more enthusiastic, knowing who Shi Dong's fiancée was. Shi Dong was not very surprised by Ma Jiang's question. He smiled and answered. Not yet, but I've seen her photo. If she was neither cute nor beautiful, do you think I'd get engaged to marry this girl, Senior Ma? Even if my family told me to. Huh, Ma Jiang laughed softly. Of course, a girl worthy of young Master Shi could not be an ugly one. As he finished, his expensive iPhone rang. Ring ring ring. Ma Jiang flicked the cigarette in his hand away and took the call. He did not even bother to see who was calling. What? Boss Ma. On the other end of the line was Dong Go. His voice was shaky. What happened? Ma Jiang's eyebrows knitted together a little when he heard Dong Go's shaky voice. Me and Luan He, we got attacked. Most of the teeth in my mouth were broken. And Luan He has many broken ribs, Dong Go said. His voice was full of clear anxiety and uneasiness. He thought that reporting this would make Ma Jiang angry and punish both of them. What? As soon as he heard that, Ma Jiang shouted out loud. His face changed immediately. Who attacked you? It's a guy Ba Guan wanted us to get rid of, Dong Guo replied softly. Veins popped on Ma Jiang's forehead. You idiot. It's just one boy and you got yourself beaten up. You piece of trash. What a waste of time. I'm sorry, boss. But this guy is well trained. Seems like he knows Kung Fu. Dong Go's voice held extreme fear. Kung Fu. Ma Jiang's rage lessened. He took a deep breath and asked, Are you sure? I'm sure. He clearly knows Kung Fu. Otherwise, he won't have been able to beat me and Luan He, who had guns. I'll take care of this then. Messing with you means messing with my White Tiger clan. Understood, boss. Having heard that, Dong Go sighed faintly with relief that Ma Jiang was not totally enraged at him. He then hung up. Looks like someone is messing with a tiger. I don't know who it was that dared to enrage Senior Ma like this. Shi Dong smiled as he spoke up. From what he'd said, it was clear that he was speculating from what he'd heard and Ma Jiang's display of anger. Ma Jiang changed his facial expression back to normal and replied, "It's nothing serious. Young master, she doesn't have to care about this matter at all. Of course, I don't want to stick my nose in your business. I'm gonna head off now. Hopefully, you will deliver every pill I order next week," Shi Dong said and got up off the sofa. Of course, young master Shi, you'll get every pill. Please prepare the cash we've agreed on. Ma Jiang stood up to shake Shi Dong's hand with a smile. Shi Dong nodded and exited the room with the 2 bodyguards that he'd brought with him. After the guest had gone, Ma Jiang's face darkened. He was angry the moment he heard Dong Go's tale. Ma Jiang had never thought that someone would dare challenge his White Tiger gang by beating up his subordinates like this. He's got a death wish. Kung Fu. Humph. You'll know what's better, Kung Fu or a gun. Ma Jiang clenched his jaw. He raised his hand a little. One of his bodyguards, who was standing behind him, walked over to the front of the sofa to stand before his boss respectfully. Go and tell who to kill that Kung Fu bastard. If he wants information, go ask Dong Go. Remember this and tell him. Tomorrow, I must have the body of that Kung Fu bastard. Ma Jiang said this cruelly. He looked absolutely merciless this time. Yes, boss. The bodyguard took the order hastily. He did not dare to loiter around and hurriedly exited the room. He was heading to tell this guy, Hu, about the kill order. This Hu was the most proficient assassin in the White Tiger gang. Once he had set his sights on someone, none of them remained breathing. End of chapter 39. Chapter 40 Long Su In's request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Baichen got up early. He helped his parents get the shop ready and had breakfast with them. The boy then followed his usual routine and left the house. It was 8 in the morning when he left. When he got up, he'd suddenly remembered that he'd left his bicycle at Xingxiang Park, which meant he had to travel there on foot. However, it was no problem at all for him since the distance was not that far. Long Su In had also made an appointment to meet with him there, so it was all convenient. About half an hour later, Bai Chen arrived at the park. The first thing he did was to walk to the tree inside the park where he'd parked his bicycle. When he saw that his bicycle was still there, Bai Chen felt relieved. No one had stolen it. He did not walk over to get his bike, though, because he had to meet Long Su In. The meeting place she'd picked was the place where they had first met, at the long bench where she had been sitting absent-mindedly on that day. Many minutes later, Bai Chen arrived. He saw her sitting on the bench. Long Su In was not in a formal white suit today. She was wearing something simple. A pair of black skinny jeans and a white round neck T-shirt. No matter how simple her outfit was, her beauty still shone through. Long Su In's brown hair was tied into a ponytail at the back of her head. The beautiful eyes behind the gold-framed glasses were staring at the screen of a phone from a luxury brand. She was browsing on her phone while waiting for him. You're very late. When she heard a person's footsteps, Long Su In looked up. She stared at Bai Chen's face with a slightly upset expression. Bai Chen could only smile. This is not late. It's not even 9 yet. You're just early. Why didn't you come early to wait then, she said. I don't do that. Bai Chen shook his head back and forth. I like to be right on time. Never mind then. Seeing that it was useless to continue this line of conversation, Long Su In decided to let the matter slide. Have you eaten yet? I have, Bai Chen replied and asked back, you. Me too, Long Su-in said. Her face took on a hesitant expression. She was clearly reluctant about saying something. Bai Chen saw this hesitation on her beautiful face, so he had to say something. Su-in, do you have something you want to say? Long Su-in did not know how to act when she heard his words. She obviously had something to say, and the topic made her hesitate. But that did not last long. In the end, Long Su-in decided to speak up. She took one deep breath and said, I need your help with something. BDNVL.M, what is it? Asked Bai Chen. He was not too surprised because Mission 13 said he had to agree to her request, no matter what it was. Bai Chen had no problem with this because he would get 20 points in return once the mission was done. The woman hesitated again. She did not blurt it out right away. In the next moment, she started talking. Tomorrow evening is the birthday of a grandpa I know. I have to attend the party. Bai Chen listened quietly without saying anything. But when he saw that she just stopped talking, he could only frown. Just say it. Whatever it is, I'll help. Hearing this made Long Su-in feel like a great weight had been lifted off of her chest. She blushed a little. She proceeded with a shaky voice. I want you to accompany me to the party and pretend to be my boyfriend. Bai Chen's eyes almost popped out when he heard that. Pretend to be your boyfriend. He was clearly shocked. Bai Chen had never had this idea in his head, that Long Su-in's request would be this, pretend to be my boyfriend, thing. Why are you shocked? You should be happy. Long Su-in said with a red face. From her words, she still thought that Bai Chen liked her romantically and was courting her. He should feel happy at her request. Bai Chen tried to calm down. He asked a question in an unsure manner. You really want me to pretend to be your boyfriend? Yes. She nodded without hesitation. Her face was still red from embarrassment. She had never asked anyone to do this sort of thing for her before. Not being embarrassed was harder than China getting to play in the final World Cup. Or you don't want to? She asked. It's not that. Bai Chen shook his head hurriedly. I can. How could he not agree to this? It was not a hard thing to do at all. He only had to play along and pretend to be her boyfriend. If he had to guess why Long Su-in had made this request, it was probably because she wanted to use him to steer clear of someone. This someone was probably none other than the wolves who would try to ask her out at the party she was going to attend. I knew you would say yes. Seeing him say yes, Long Su-in felt unexplainable happiness. She also felt relieved at the same time. What time will be it tomorrow and where? I have to get ready, Bai Chen asked so he could prepare. Long Su-in looked at him and replied, the party will be at the ballroom of the Grand Xing Feng Hotel. The Grand Xing Feng Hotel. Bai Chen tried to think of where he had heard that name before. He suddenly realized that this Grand Xing Feng Hotel was the biggest and most luxurious hotel in Xingzhou City. Yes. Long Su-in nodded. The place for tomorrow is the Grand Xing Feng Hotel. Bai Chen had never been to that hotel. However, he did not feel at all panicked about it, the biggest hotel in the city, because he had zero interest in it. End of chapter 40.